I don't know where
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of Cosmic Potato, the Super Fan Talk podcast. My name is Sean Ray, and today we're doing another installment of our 12 Days of Christmas series. Joining me on the show, we have Rick. How's it going?
I broke my little ship.
we have Scott.
I have a cookie.
And Brandon is here as well. How's it going, sir?
Good. I feel like I should say to Rick, the line must be drawn here. No farther.
So not all of these shows are going to be Christmas themed. We're going to talk about just some stuff that's happening in the news as well. That's what this episode is going to be about. We're going to talk about a Christmas present that Warner Brothers has given us. And before we start, I'm going to start the timer. This is going to be about a 15-minute conversation. It's just 15 minutes so that we don't overstay our Christmas welcome. And okay, so Warner Brothers has made an announcement that they're releasing their entire catalog of 2021 films on HBO Max at the same time that they're releasing them to theaters. We're talking about movies that I've never heard of, like The Little Things and Judas and the Black Messiah, as well as some fairly well-known titles like Tom and Jerry and
Tom and Jerry movie coming out?
Yeah, Tom and Jerry and Space Jam: A New Legacy, and then we got some big tentpole movies like Dune and Mortal Kombat, Godzilla vs. Kong, The Suicide Squad, and Matrix 4. So,
Wonder Woman.
Oh, and
yeah, Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's a different deal, though. Yeah, Wonder Woman had already been announced. So okay. I've got a couple of opinions. I want to get you guys to kind of give an opinion first. Rick, what do you think about all this?
I was kind of thrilled about it when they first announced it, because until there's a vaccine, neither I nor anyone in my family is going anywhere near a cinema. So, I've been looking forward to Dune. I've been cautiously optimistic about Villeneuve's Dune for about a year now, and I was kind of despairing about when we'd get to see it. So when they announced that they're going to be releasing Dune and the other stuff and Wonder Woman, I said to my wife, "Well, guess we're getting another streaming service," and we both agreed we want to see all this stuff. We hadn't planned on getting HBO Max, but because it's one of the pricier ones. But there's enough stuff in there that it would be worth it. Do we want to go into the ramifications of this, or did you just want my opinion on it right now?
Well, let's get Brandon and Scott to weigh in. Brandon, what do you think?
I think I need to turn on my microphone. I think that it makes sense. This year, it just makes sense. There's not much else that they can do. They are being kind of jerks about it because they negotiated the Wonder Woman deal with the theaters and saw what the theaters would agree to. And then they didn't negotiate this with the theaters. They gave them they sent them a 3-hour heads up and then made the press release. And I get why they're doing it. They have to make their money back, but this is going to be a licensing contract, everything nightmare. This is not the future of cinema. I mean, it is the future of cinema, but it's not going to stay this way. It's going to go back to exclusive windows in the theaters once there's a vaccine, once people are comfortable going back to the theaters, or else the theaters just aren't going to play ball. I think it's kind of jerky for the way that Warner Brothers did this, but you also have to remember that Warner Brothers is owned by AT&T and they're all losing money right now. So they just need to make their money back somehow. And so everybody's losing money. The theaters, Warner Brothers. HBO Max is so... The biggest problem for HBO Max isn't even the lack of subscribers. It's the lack of people who have access to it through their cable providers and such that have not even signed up for it. They are just trying to get people to open the door to their service. I think people like Rick and I who are like, crap, now I got to sign up for another service, are not even the targets for Warner Brothers on this. I think they're just trying to get the people who already have the rights to it to sign in so they can be like, we've got the world's largest streaming platform. Because, at the end of the day, HBO Max is going to be writing that check to Warner Brothers, even though they're the same company. They're going to handle it like a business transaction, so they can write it off on their books.
Yeah.
It's what it is. There's lots of news. We'll talk more about it after we hear others' opinions.
Scott?
Well, I'll be the first one to admit I did not do nearly as much research into the matter as Brandon did. So I don't know the inner workings or the underpinnings of the entire situation. All I know is that Warner Brothers has decided they are going to release things to the theater and at home at the same time. I understand that this is a direct reaction, direct response to the pandemic and the impact that it's had on cinemas. But at the same time, I've long held the belief that things would start moving in this direction eventually. That people would be more vocal about their enjoyment of the first run movies at home experience versus going to the movie theater, especially with the fact that it's much easier to create a cinema-like experience at home now than it ever has been before.
I'm trying to talk my wife into letting us buy a 4K projector.
See, there you go. I've got the flat screen, and it is 4K. If I turn off the lights and I put on a 4K movie, then I'm halfway there to a cinema experience. All I need is for my neighbors to make noise, which is pretty easy to bank on. And then it's like I'm at a theater.
Yeah.
So I felt that it was going to be heading this way for quite a while, and I think the pandemic has just forced things to move in this direction faster than it would have naturally. Is it going to stay this way? I don't know. But I think that at the very least, some elements of this will stay around. Either the exclusive window in theaters will be smaller, like something will open up in the theaters, and then before it's even left the theaters, it will be released for home viewing. I think that's entirely possible. I believe that the industry of cinemas will stick around, but I think it's going to become smaller. It's going to become more of a specialized thing for people who really want that experience, and not the only way that people can see a new movie for 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
The sardine can experience in a theater is going to be no more. That's 100%.
They're going to have to make the movie going experience pleasurable again, because it hasn't been for a long time. When you're crammed in with people that you don't know, and you got kids running around. I mean, I've got a 2-year-old grandbaby. I wouldn't let him run loose in a movie theater, and grown people that just have open conversations while a movie is going on or pull their phone out. I can't even go see like PG-13 horror films, like Blumhouse Pictures and stuff like that. I can't even go see them in the theaters because the audience is mostly teenagers, and teenagers are terrible to watch movies with.
I ended up going to go see A Quiet Place on Free Popcorn Tuesday. You know where they put their do you know where they put their free popcorn? In a little paper bag.
Yeah.
That crinkled every time you put your hand into it. So when you went and saw a movie like The Quiet Place, The Quiet Place, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's one of those days. Anyway, where it's all about silence, and when there is sound, it's supposed to freak you out. I lost all of that because you're right. People are terrible jerks. I'm gonna eat my popcorn. Yeah.
You guys remember newspapers?
Do we remember newspapers?
I think I'm a little young for that.
Last year, I had a teenage coworker who was a new hire ask me. He literally asked me. This is a quote. Do you know what memes are? You sound like that guy.
Okay. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, I forget when exactly it came out, when Deep Blue Sea came out. Okay. A not particularly punch-pulling shark movie. Not a great movie, although I enjoyed it, and I got in a lot of trouble with my friends because I said I enjoyed it and they thought I said it was a good movie.
I've had that argument. Battleship.
That's a whole other thing. My friend Gina and I went to see it. This is a very strongly R-rated film, which if nothing else, look up on YouTube Samuel L. Jackson's inspirational speech from Deep Blue Sea. 8:30, something like that show, not a matinee or anything like that. Deeply R-rated film with lots of blood and guts and gore and sharks eating people, kids running all over the theater. And so Gina and I actually together wrote an editorial letter to the Palm Beach Post about how fucked up that was. I've been good. Are we less than 5? We're more than 5 minutes in. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Last of 11 this time.
And it got published with an actual piece of clip art clip art and like a border and stuff. Didn't help, but you know,
right. There were
the wind.
There were 3. I have to peg them all as all 3 of them were preteens at Deadpool. Back when I was married, my wife and I went to the theater and we saw Deadpool, and there was a dad with his 3 kids, like I'd say 12 and under, all of them. Just
they don't do the research. They do, you know, when the Heavy Metal movie came out. Have any of y'all seen the Heavy Metal movie?
I'm not old enough for it yet.
Oh,
it's been a while, but yeah.
Okay, this was an animated film that came out in 1983.
I have them both though.
As close as you could get to porn as you could, and still not have a. This was long before our NC-17 came out, and people were taking their kids to see it because it was a cartoon, and they had no idea.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, whoopsie, big whoopsie. There was no way I was going to run around this place with my dork hanging out. It is not. I love this movie because of when it came out, and you know where in my life I was when I saw it. My friend Chris and I made the mistake. There was a re-release of it in like the late 90s. It hit our local art house theater, and we're like, oh wow, cool, Heavy Metal's playing. Hey Kim, let's go see Heavy Metal. And didn't even occur to us. You know, Kim is our friend Kim is a huge feminist. I mean, well, she's tiny, but you know, not in any way inclined to be forgiving of chauvinism in the cinema. And the Heavy Metal movie, if you've seen it, is nothing but. And we were very sorry when we
That's the subtitle of the movie. It's called Heavy Metal Chauvinism.
I got a little bit of a rant. We got a couple minutes left.
Go for it.
It's addressing, because like Christopher Nolan and a couple other directors, and they've come out and said,
I didn't want to get into is the actors and the directors and producers are pissed.
Yeah. I will just say this, okay. I get it. You make movies and you want those movies to be seen in a certain way. If there's not a theater experience, you want to take your ball and go home. To that, I say, we've gone through the majority of 2020. The U.S. So the U.S. had more people die in the last week from COVID-19 than Japan and Korea have had combined in the entire pandemic. And there's countless people that don't have jobs anymore. There are people that have jobs that pay a lot less because they take what they can get. So it's very hard for me to sympathize with somebody whining because their movie isn't playing where they want it to play.
It's like the people who complain about people who speed up their podcasts. I create art that should be experienced a certain way. You know what? I don't care if you're a comedian. I'm going to speed up your podcast. Dang it!
So I get that they're mad at Warner Brothers, and yeah, Warner Brothers could have handled it different, but I mean, they're really doing it for the money and all of that. I get it, but I mean, read the room, dude. Because if you want to say screw it, I'm not making another movie until this is all over, then fine. But don't come bitching at me and the majority of Americans, because you release a movie right now, and that's the only way that they're going to get to see it. I understand Tenet made money in spite of itself, but I really think it probably would have made more if they'd either waited or they released it in, kind of this way.
Yeah, and
So.
to put a movie that is as anticipated as Tenet, the new Christopher Nolan joint. I can't believe I did that. I call it a joint. I hate podcasters who do that. I'm sorry. The new Christopher Nolan film. It's not a Christopher Nolan joint. Spike Lee does that and no one else. I apologize. For real.
To Spike Lee?
And to podcast listeners, yes. But when you have a movie that's that anticipated and he pushes so hard, it's going to be released in the theaters. You know what? Dude, you're not helping.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be people who have been behaving all through the pandemic until that movie comes out, and then decide to break the rules to go see that movie, and that causes trouble.
There's our timer.
Large groups are problematic during a pandemic. Don't do stuff that is going to bring large groups in when it's not necessary. Either wait or just let the movie be released in whatever way it's going to be released and people can see it. I'm with Sean 100%. Filmmakers who want their film to be a theater experience, it's okay to want that, but also keep in mind the audience wants the wants of the audience are also important.
I want to be able to go to the theater and watch it, but I'm not going to.
Right.
I told my
because
wife
it's dangerous
the first thing that I am going to do if I get COVID and survive is I'm going to a movie theater. Like,
well, the thing is,
well, you can you can get it and get over it, and you can still get it because Tiny Lister, he died this week, and he had already had it once. Got it again.
But isn't it a 3-month thing? Anyway, this is a whole nother 15-minute discussion.
That's the problem. We don't know yet. The thing I've noticed, and I'll make this point really quickly, is that 9/10 of the people that make a film get their paycheck and move on and couldn't give two shits about how it's released. It's that small percentage of people above the line who have profit sharing in their contracts who are bitching about this.
Yeah.
Because these movies are not going to make the billions they were counting on. And so they're whining. And TFB. Like you said, the world's tiniest violin. So you have trouble paying the mortgage on your third freaking house.
Whoa. Why is it doing that again? I didn't set the
sleep timer. Sleep timer. Snooze.
I guess that was
snooze this.
I guess that was my snooze alarm.
I'll make sure that the people who are in line at the food bank know that you're upset about your profit sharing being mucked up there, bucko.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We will be back tomorrow with another mini episode. Enjoy your Christmas season. Be safe.